Hey everybody, Chris here. Are we about to see a parabolic rally for Dogecoin? We're going to talk about that in this video. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel. Hit that little notification bell too. You can be notified when my new videos come out, as well as when I do live streams. We've been tracking a lot of the recent dips after a big run that we had in Dogecoin over the past week. Buying opportunities, right? Some of you are still bears, though, that think that this rally is not going to be sustained. And we're going to see Dogecoin dropping back lower into the teens. Me, I'm a little more optimistic, looking at resistance levels and price targets. So let's get into it. Let me show you the charts on the news, and I'll show you what I'm looking at. We start here looking at the current Dogecoin chart, and we just touched 23 cents here this morning, now at 22.8. So rejected at 23. Short-term resistance, right? We'll look at some bigger resistance levels in just a minute, though. Last night, we did have Dogecoin dropping back into the 21s. That's right, down to 21.8. So for anyone that was looking for dip buying opportunities, that 21.8 was good. Yesterday during the live stream, we were watching Dogecoin trading up back to 23, right where we are now, after we had that mid-afternoon dip right down to 22 cents. And we said during the live stream, look, I wouldn't be surprised to see Dogecoin coming back down into the low 22s, possibly dips to 21.9. And we did get that late last night to 21.8. So for those looking to buy dips, I know some of you, 19, 18, 17, 13, 10. I mean, you guys have all these predictions out there. A lot of bears still around, but it's just like it's starting to get tiring, though. It's starting to get tiring when you look at the macro and what's going on overall. You know, short term, yeah, we got CPI numbers coming out this morning. I'm recording this before those numbers come out. I'm guessing it's just going to be kind of meh, kind of flat, right? Not really high, not really low. Markets will respond how they respond. What's happening with the China tariffs, what's happening with Trump and his visit to the Middle East and all of that. Those are all little news things that will do some little short-term ups and downs. Those are the ones where you want to pay attention and take advantage of those opportunities. Well, Coinbase, yes, Coinbase has been added to the S&P 500. I don't think that would have happened under Biden, who's all those anti-crypto SEC stuff. Now we have pro-crypto United States government. I think that's good for crypto longer term, and this is just the beginning, and it's just growing. Meanwhile, yes, Dogecoin slipped early Tuesday. That was an opportunity, though. Again, buying on dips, and the signs are pointing to a rebound up past we'll look at those resistance levels, but could we get up to 27 cents in the short term? As we'll see whether that next move up is going to be a key big move. Rec Capital says, look, Dogecoin is now performing that key retest of pre-halving resistance into new support. And we'll look at that on a chart, another chart in a little bit, looking at where Dogecoin was at the halving and what that means as we project forward from the halving and where Dogecoin is trading now. But Rec Capital says, look, that next level up there is going to be 27 cents. If we can hold that support level. Now, of course, we dip down it. And those are those buying opportunities again when you see that. But the overall trend is still up. And that is from last summer. From last summer, the trend is up. So these dips that we had, particularly the Liberation Day tariff, 13 cent Doge, that was the opportunity. And look what has happened since then. Now, there are some say, look, big November pump, pullback, that next pump that we just had here, lower than the November one. So is that start of a trend downwards? Very similar pattern happened in 2021, although it was translated into, this was May, and then we had the smaller October, where May went up to 73, and October went only to about 35 cents before the bear market hit. But we don't have total bear market indicators right now. Bitcoin dominance is still high. We haven't seen the alt season yet this cycle, not a true alt season. We haven't seen that sort of blow off top and like extreme greed on the fear and greed index. That hasn't happened yet. We haven't had others take off. Yeah, there's been memes here and there that have gone crazy, but not overall. And Ali's like, look, right now we have this next crucial area of resistance between 25 and 27 cents here. These are levels that we have continued, that Doge has continued to trade around up and down. Again, before all the tariff fear happened. This was right when I was taking my profits back here, back in January. And we're getting back up to those levels again. We're getting back up to those levels above that. So, again, my profits actually were up here before that next big, like February 1st, February 2nd drop. It was right there on January 30th. This Doge was up here at like 31, 32 cents. Because we could see what was happening with the tariffs. We were talking about it then. But now that's all reversing. And all of the signs in the United States economy are starting to turn back to positive. We're seeing the big inflows of money and budget surplus now that's starting to build up from those tariffs. So that, and again, that's all about liquidity and liquidity in the market. And I know I talk a lot about the United States, and I know I'm in here, it's a global market, but still the U.S. traders do still tend to dominate overall the market performance. So that's why we talk about it a lot. But Dogecoin is showing the signs of that breakout. Dogecoin price breaks crucial 20-cent resistance. What are the next price targets? It has been a roller coaster year, no doubt. And those that have sort of been up and down and we're getting back up again, riding through this, great for hodling, right? You have the faith. There are still bears out there, and there are still some saying that this is a weak run that Doge has had, very weak, and that it's going to come crashing back down into the teens. And I get that. I see that just on a chart basis, again, based on what happened in 2021. However, the overall global market is in a different position now than it was in 2021 as well. We don't have the stimulus checks. I get that. A lot of people saying, well, without the stimmy checks, we don't have all this cash flowing into memes, right? Small caps, but that can always turn around. Not in terms of stimulus checks, but in quantitative easing, M2 money supply. There's still money printing going on. Tax cuts are coming. All of that is going to lead to Doge moving up. And you know what an early indicator is? The whales. As Ali points out, whales are accumulating Doge. And as the whales accumulate, they forecast what's coming. Just like when the whales start offloading, most likely that's going to be an early indicator that it's time to take some profits as well. Trader Allen's like, look, his next target is 37 cents, looking at this bull flag here. Very bullish, looking up as this measured target from the flagpole. Again, looking back on this recent rally, that would be up to 37 cents. Even Kaleo is like, look, it's finally time to pay attention again to the king of memes, Dogecoin. Kaleo's like, look, let's take a look at the halving lines, where Dogecoin was last halving, where its price was. It runs up, has a bullish run, and then fades back down to the point where, okay, now it's time to go parabolic. So what did we have this time? We had Dogecoin. It was about like 13 cents or so at the Bitcoin halving. Back in 2024, it had just had a little bit of run up to like 22 cents. But it was around 14 cents, 13, 14. And guess what happened? After the halving, had a bit of a dip, had the run up, the retrace, went right back to that level, 13 cents. Is this parabolic rally the next move? Trader Allen says, look, if we zoom out and we look at the 4-year cycle still in play,
We haven't had the blow off top yet for this cycle. Like we had 2017 had that second run. 2021 had this sort of double run that happened. We haven't had that big blow off top run yet this cycle. That is the parabolic run. The most powerful move in the cycle still hasn't happened. Let's see how it goes. Rocket ship, right? Rocket ship. And if you look at my chart and we zoom out here, and it's like this is what we added to our chart here is a rocket ship, right? This was during the live stream. Join me in my next live stream, 4 o'clock p.m. East Coast time, Tuesday. Will be my next live stream. We do try to have some fun. We know it's your money, right? Some people are still worried about things, but it's like this is where we are in the cycle where are we ready for that next rocket ship, right? I know the cup and the handle didn't play out. We only got half a handle and then the handle broke. We broke down. But we'll see whether we get this recovery back as Dogecoin breaks through these resistance levels to get back up, and we'll see whether we punch through 25 cents. But yes, is it set for another parabolic rally? Trader Allen had this chart we looked at yesterday, and this is all about Doge versus Bitcoin, because we had that in 2021 as well, where Doge totally outperformed Bitcoin. And is that going to happen as well? Because Bitcoin has so much going for it with its own ETFs and institutions and governments and big companies, like buying Bitcoin is a store of value. Dogecoin can go on these big runs, though, and outperform Bitcoin in those parabolic runs in the green market. That is the potential that Dogecoin has. So are you sitting on the sidelines waiting this out? Are you chasing other memes? You happy with your Bitcoin? But do you have exposure to Doge? Doge ETFs are coming. A house of Doge is building. So many other catalysts coming for Dogecoin, and that's when those big runs happen. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this possible upcoming parabolic rally for Dogecoin? Give the video a like. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I appreciate the support. We'll see you next time.